C.O.R.E. My name is Kat Thomas. Thank you for stopping by because today we've got another Asana 101 Quickie, and today's pose is the wonderful pigeon pose, or as the yogis like to say, Pada Kapotasana. So we're going to stick with pigeon pose. Now, if you've seen this pose before and you thought, oh gosh, how could I ever do this? I'm going to show you how to do it today because 2 years ago, as of like last week, I had a complete hip replacement on my right side. So I'm going to show you a few modifications and ways to really start sinking in, because not only does this really lengthen and strengthen the core, stretch out those hip flexors and the psoas, it will really help build a little bit of confidence and help calm the mind. And it's going to prepare the body for a lot of other great things that you might want to do in life. So I would suggest grabbing some water, getting a nice flat surface. Hopefully you have a nice spongy yoga mat that you can move through. And I'll meet you on the mat in just a minute. Okay, so you're meeting me on the mat for our Pada Kapotasana, or our pigeon pose. So there's a few ways that you can start out to try and get into this pose or asana, but we're actually going to warm the body up, kind of bring a nice curvature to the lower lumbar, and really open up the hips by threading the needle first. Some people call this affectionately the dead pigeon. I'm going to say thread the needle. So, as I like to do with all of you in our opening, we're going to take a nice deep breath in together, raising those wings sky high, and exhale, dropping them back down. And any way you want to come back onto your back, just roll down gently, honoring your spine. And we're just going to bring the knees into the body, hug the shins, and gently rock side to side. And dropping that left foot onto the mat, we're going to extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, that right ankle is going to drop just above that left knee. Now you can hang here and just kind of guide that right thigh down with your right hand gently to actually thread the needle. We're going to take that right hand and arm and thread it through that nook, and that left hand is going to reach back around the leg and gently draw the left knee in. We're going to flex both the right and the left foot. Your lower back is engaged to the mat, and we're gently going to bring that in, making sure to keep the breath flowing. If you want, you're naturally feeling that right elbow touching that right thigh, and you can just gently push in. Make sure that you're never putting any pressure on the knee directly. And we're just going to breathe here, maybe 5 breaths, drawing in gently. And start to use your Ujjayi breath here if you can, or that beautiful oceanic breath, breathing in through the nose and back out through the nose. Or breathe however you want. This is your practice, your moment, your space. And on your exhale, gently drop that left foot, extend that right leg, and then drop the right foot to the mat, and switching out to the other side, left ankle above that right knee. Again, you can hold here or thread the needle, hands connecting behind that right thigh, and gently drawing the leg in, flexing both the feet. Really starting to feel an opening in the hips. One side might be a little tighter than the others. Now, one thing I didn't mention in my opening is if you do have any knee injuries, or your knees are not prepared for the pigeon pose, or you have not worked on healing any major hip injuries or situations, this is not the pose to try and do. All right, so we're going to make our way up, and we're going to start on all fours. Now you can come into this pose from downward facing dog. There's a few other ways to kind of move into it as you're going through your vinyasas, but we're going to start on all fours in tabletop. So we're going to kind of boost the bird a few different ways here. You can use your yoga blocks. If you have blankies that you like to use, or if you have your own Harold, I've got a little stuffed animal pig that I have had for years, and he's a fixture in my home still. Yes, I have a stuffed animal that I love. I have to shout out to Solange for my Bellagio days here in Las Vegas. But just make sure that they're handy because you might want to boost the bird with those. Okay, so we're in our tabletop position. No matter if we're working towards another pose, we want to make sure that we're conscientious of the pose that we're starting in. Hands are connected, fingers are spread, wrists are just underneath the shoulders. We're just going to rock the heart center forward slowly. So find your balance. You really want to ground that right knee into the mat, back of the right foot resting firmly there. And we're going to start to inhale and stretch through the left toes, extending that left leg all the way back. And exhaling, we're going to drop the toes. So we're on the ball of the left leg's foot. And we're going to soften to that knee. So keep your toes curled. We're holding here. And we're just going to bring that right knee forward just a little more in between those hands. So extending through that left leg, lengthening through, and your left knee is actually creating a nice straight line all the way through the crown of your head. Now we're going to hold here, just walk the hands up, come up onto the fingertips, and roll those beautiful shoulder blades down through the spine. Engage the core, and just softening the muscles in the face as you gaze forward. Maybe a little smile coming through on the corners of the mouth. From here, this is where you can use a prop. It could be a pot, your yoga blocks, maybe a book if you have one. It can be here, and find a way to really lengthen through the spine, the crown of the head lifting upwards, heart center reaching out and being open. Remember this engaged feeling because you don't want to lose the integrity of this posture while you're starting in the pigeon pose. And if you feel comfortable, go ahead and drop those fingers. So from here, if you want to kind of take it a little spicier, we're going to soften to the back of that left foot. We're going to start walking or helping our little right foot along to the outer edges of the left side of your mat. Now hold here. Don't let yourself roll off of that left knee. It's very important. Now you might see that you have a little space underneath the right hip. This is where your blanket come in handy. If you have a Harold of your own, go ahead and place it there. Or if you want to use your yoga block, go ahead and place it there. I'm going to start with Harold until I can soften and breathe into this space and have that connection. It's okay if you don't. This is all about moving through the breath and engaging your mind, body, and soul to believe and connect with all that is. And all there is love. And that is you, your body, and breath. So we're going to hold here for a few breaths. Embrace. Try and see if you can start having the length of the inhalation match the length of your exhalation. See if you can just sink a little deeper and start to really honor and appreciate that stretch, that opening, the connection through the right hip as your thighs externally rotate. Now, another key thing to be aware of. So I've kept my right foot very close to my left thigh. The further that we come out with the foot, the much more intense and challenging this pose will be. So if you are struggling, why struggle? Bring that foot back into the body, and remember, we want to keep a nice straight spine, crown of the head lifting, heart opening up. Now from here, if you want to take it even further, we're just going to start to walk the hands out, engage the navel, and start to bring the forehead down onto the mat, resting just in front of that right knee. Now for modifications, again, starting here, you can bring your block or your prop. You can rest here, or you can bring yourself down. Straight line through the spine. If you don't have blocks or props that you're comfortable with, you can always use your elbows and make little pillows with your fists and support the spine and the neck and hold here. I like the elbows because I can walk them out and really extend through the stretch. Again, we're remembering, do not roll off that left knee and keep the breath flowing. And we're going to hang here for a few more breaths, getting low, getting even, and getting comfortable with our edge. Two more breaths together. And gently bring the hands back to either side of your face and gently lift and press off from the mat, walking the body nice and tall and strong. Remove any props or your blankets or your Harolds if you have them, and then place the hands down. Curl that left foot, lift the body, and we're going to extend that right back to meet the left. That should feel so awakening and juicy for you. If that's a little too much to go right into plank, just come onto the knees and come back to tabletop. And everyone together, just rock the hips side to side. Keep the navel engaged. And let's just move through the right side, opening that hip. I'll bring the block around. Again, setting yourself up, lengthening through that right leg, stretch it out, wiggle those toes even if you can, and soften to the knee, staying on the ball of the foot. We're going to bring that left knee between the fingertips and lengthen even further if you can. You can stay here if you want. One side might be a little more open or amenable to opening than the other. And again, lifting yourself, creating a straight line through the crown of the head, staying on that right knee. Now you can hold here if you want to take it a little spicier, soften to the back of that foot, and start to bring that left foot now to the edge of the right side of the mat. Position yourself, choose your little prop to boost your bird. And when and if you're ready, you can start to float down onto the mat, resting the forehead just above that left knee. And remember to breathe. If you want to let out a nice little sigh, release the bird. Get low, get even, get comfortable with your edge. You can play around with removing the prop if you want. And you can see there's a bigger space. So you want to make sure that you're honoring your edge and not trying too hard to just get into the pose. Two more breaths. And bring the hands back on either side of the face. Gently lift the body up. Smooth out the spine through a breath. And curl that back foot. Left comes back to meet the right. And let's come all the way down onto our bellies. Soften the feet. And let's extend those arms all the way out in front of us. Point those toes back. And And bring the hands back on either side of the chest. Lift the body up and rock yourself back to child's pose. Knees spread wide, big toes touching. And rock gently side to side. And welcome to the pigeon pose. Thank you all for spending a few moments with me as we opened our hearts and opened our hips, strengthened our core, and are becoming more flexible in mind, body, and breath together. My name is Kat Thomas, this is C.O.R.E. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe and like our page. We're here to show what challenges and inspires. Namaste.